dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom. My dear students, in today's lecture, we are continuing with the topic mass media and history. In the first part of this lesson, we have learnt about introduction to mass media, history of mass media, and in the history of newspapers, then the precursors of newspapers, in that Bengal Gazette, Darpan, Prabhakar, Jnanoday, Kesari and Maratha. Then about magazines and journals, and then in electronic or in digital journalism we talked about radio and television. Now today, in the second part of this topic, mass media and history, we are going to discuss about why do we need mass media, critical understanding of the information received through mass media, and the mass media and professional opportunities. So the first point is, why do we need mass media? Is there any need of mass media? We need mass media to facilitate free flow of information to all strata of the society. It means that in mass media we get information about number of things, and for that we need mass media. Editorials, various columns and supplements are essential part of newspapers. Editorials, which is very important page of the newspaper, then the columns based on different subjects, again it may be economical or cultural or political or any subject which is related to our day to day life, and the supplements specially designed during the period of festivals or any cultural event. Readers are also ensured of a platform to voice their opinions, and again for this mass media is very important. अगर आपने अच्छी तरह से न्यूज़पेपर को देखा है तो उसमें एक कॉलम होता है, उसमें एक कॉलम नहीं कहेंगे हम उसको, एक पार्ट होता है, एक जगह होती है जहाँ पर जो रीडर्स होते हैं उनके लेटर्स पब्लिश किए जाते हैं, उनको जगह दी जाती है. तो आपके कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है, कुछ सॉल्यूशन है या किसी बात पे आपको अपने विचार रखने हैं, देन यू कैन राइट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर place. Newspapers can help in making the democracy stronger, and that is why we call media as the fourth pillar of democracy. So it also play an important role in strengthening the democracy by asking questions to the government or to the administration, and also by criticizing the schemes. Then in this, television, which is an audio visual medium. Now the newspaper, which is print media जिसे हम पढ़ते हैं, then radio, which is audio जिसमें हम सिर्फ सुन सकते हैं, but the television which changed the world, which is an audio visual medium जिसमें हम सुन भी सकते हैं और देख भी सकते हैं. It was possible for this medium to cross the inherent limitations of newspapers and the radio and show the actual visuals of an event to people. Now, number of events all over the world we can directly or we can live see on the or watch on the television. So far there is no other alternative to television for watching an event as it actually happened. For example, live cricket matches or Olympic games or many things like Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha TV, in that we can directly see the live shows in the Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha shows, or we can say the debates between the government and the people who are not in the government. That means government and opposition. But because of the audiovisual medium, this television, it changed the world totally. Next point is critical understanding of the information received through mass media. This point is very important, as we are saying mass media or the media as the fourth pillar of democracy, or we are saying that the role of newspaper or any kind of media is very important in strengthening the democracy. Then it is also very important to criticize the news which we are getting through media. So any information received through mass media needs to be reviewed critically. Is it right or is it wrong? Is it biased or motivated by any prejudiced thought? ये सब चेक करना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है कि हम तक जो न्यूज़ आ रही है वो सही है या गलत है, या फिर किसी पॉलिटिकल माइंड से वो मोटिवेट तो नहीं है. ये सब देखना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है. द न्यूज़ और इंफॉर्मेशन इन द मीडिया मे नॉट ऑलवेज रिप्रेजेंट एग्जैक्ट ट्रूथ. जैसा है वैसा ट्रूथ हम तक नहीं दिखाया जाता है बहुत बार, एंड दैट इज़ वाई इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू चेक द फैक्ट. वी नीड टू स्कैन इट वेरी केयरफुली एंड देन टू बिलीव ऑन इट. नहीं तो आजकल हम देख रहे हैं कि बहुत सारे र्यूमर्स जो है सोशल मीडिया में वायरल हो जाते हैं और लोग उस पर रिएक्ट करते हैं, जो कि हमारे समाज के लिए, सोसाइटी के लिए, हमारे देश के लिए अच्छी बात नहीं होती है. सो इट इज़ वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट टू स्कैन द न्यूज़ वेरी केयरफुली. देयर is a very famous event of unauthentic information appearing in print in Germany. Here you can see the name Stern. Germany weekly magazine had purchased a number of so-called handwritten diaries of Adolf Hitler. It sold them to various publication companies. The diaries were verified for their authenticity and subsequently the news appeared in the print. But after that, later, those diaries were proved to be forged, which means to make an illegal copy of something. So it was forged. It becomes apparent from this example that we need to be very careful. This word is very important. We need to be very careful about the information published by the media. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई बात हमने मीडिया में सुनी है इसलिए हम उस पर आँख बंद करके भरोसा करें, या फिर हमारी सोच को बंद करें और उसी न्यूज़ पर पूरी तरह से भरोसा करें. थिंग्स विच आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, नीड टू स्कैन द न्यूज़ एंड नीड टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट द इंफॉर्मेशन विच वी आर गेटिंग थ्रू मास मीडिया. नाउ इन दिस द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट which is very important, mass media and professional opportunities. Why I am saying this is important? Because as per the future, or if you are interested in the field of mass media or at the same time आप history में भी interested है, तो history और mass media का connection कैसा है? अगर आप history में अच्छे हैं तो mass media में आपके लिए कौन कौन सी opportunities है, that we are going to see in this point. So newspapers have to fulfill the task of providing fresh news. Very important thing. Newspapers have to fulfill the task of providing fresh news to its readers, and nowadays it is more difficult because number of newspapers are there, number of TV channels are there, number of news portals are there. So it is very important to provide fresh news. And it is also necessary to unfold the background of an event in the news. कोई भी न्यूज़ बताते वक्त उस न्यूज़ का बैकग्राउंड क्या है, क्या उसे कुछ हिस्ट्री है, वो बताना ज़रूरी है. नहीं तो एक न्यूज़ हमें न्यूज़पेपर में भी पढ़ने को मिल रही है, रेडियो पे सुनने को मिल रही है, टीवी पे भी हम उसे देख सुन सकते हैं, और फिर सोशल मीडिया पे भी हम उसे देखते हैं, पढ़ते हैं. तो एक न्यूज़ अलग अलग एंगल से बताई जा सकती है, उसमें से जो अच्छी लगेगी उसे लोग देखेंगे. सो इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट not only to provide fresh news but to unfold the background of an event in the news. At such times, newspapers have to resort to history And while reporting news in detail, reporters try to compare it with parallel events which happened in the past. The past event may be printed in a separate frame, and here you need to know the history of that particular news. Here you can see history, editorials, articles on this day in history, reviews, news and columns. These are the different fields we can say in the newspaper. एक ही न्यूज़पेपर में अलग अलग फील्ड या फिर अलग अलग एरियाज़ हैं जिसमें आप काम कर सकते हैं. एक तो आप कॉलमिस्ट बनकर कॉलम्स लिख सकते हैं, या फिर अगर आप इम्पॉर्टेंट प्लेस पे है तो एडिटोरियल का काम करना है आपको, रिव्यू अलग अलग चीज़ों के. ऑन दिस डे इन द हिस्ट्री विच वन इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, ये तो स्कूल में भी होता है. आज के दिन हिस्ट्री में क्या हुआ है, इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें बताई जाती है. सो दैट इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Newspapers print columns about historical information appearing under headings such as 50 years ago or 100 years ago, etc. Such columns are based on historic documents or written history. So, if you are good at history, you can go through this. आप एक कोई अलग शो, इफ़ इट इज़ ऑडियो विजुअल मीडियम, अलग शो एक डिज़ाइन कर सकते हैं. अगर आकाशवाणी है तो उसके लिए अलग शो डिज़ाइन कर सकते हैं. अगर ये प्रिंट मीडिया है तो उसमें किस तरह से लिखना है, दैट यू कैन डिज़ाइन. These columns provide historical information about economic, social, political events in the past and also events of historical significance. Newspapers occasionally publish supplements to the regular edition or special issues. For example, World War I commenced in 1914 and year 2014 marked the 100th year of this event. So, in order to be able to publish a newspaper supplement or a special issue to commemorate the occasion, one needs to review its history. So, the person who knows the history about the World War I and also about the World War II, he or she can write on that particular topic. Also in 2017, 75 years were completed after the announcement of Quit India movement. On such occasions, newspapers highlight the event through various articles. जैसे ये मूवमेंट किसने शुरू की, कैसे शुरू की, पूरे भारत में ये मूवमेंट किस तरह से फैली, ये सब जानकारी उस पर्टिकुलर हेडिंग के बारे में देनी होती है. On such occasions, newspapers highlight the event through various articles, editorials, columns like what happened in history on this day, or reviews. The knowledge of history is essential for writing of such type. So, again I am repeating the same thing. If you are interested in history और आपको मीडिया में भी काम करना है तो पैरेलल ये दोनों जा सकते हैं. History is also essential in planning radio programs. For example, Akashvani has preserved recordings of all the speeches delivered each year by the Prime Ministers of India on 15th August. As we know, हर 15th August को जो भी Prime Minister रहेंगे वो स्पीच देते हैं फ्रॉम द लाल किला ऑफ दिल्ली, और वहाँ से जो स्पीचेस आज तक दिए हैं प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स ने उनको प्रिजर्व करने का काम आकाशवाणी ने किया. हियर यू कैन सी प्राइम मिनिस्टर पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू गिविंग स्पीच ऑन ऑल इंडिया रेडियो AIR. And also Akashvani invites historians as experts for discussions on various occasions such as the anniversaries of birth or death of national leaders anniversaries of historical events. Lectures on the contribution of various national leaders needs to be supported by historical information, and for that it is very important to know about the history. Programs like On This Day in History are also an integral part of the daily programs of Akashvani. Here you can see national program of features a flag flew at morning. Then the national program of talks in the Sardar Patel, the architect of modern India. तो ये जो प्रोग्राम्स है ये आकाशवाणी के प्रोग्राम्स है, किस तरह से डिज़ाइन किए हैं रिलेटेड विद द हिस्ट्री. Then next thing very important, television channels also telecast programs based on history. Doordarshan and other television channels help in creating interest in history among people through their historical shows and serials. For this, best example, the mythological and historical serials like Ramayana and Mahabharat. Bharat Ek Khoj and राजा शिव छत्रपति attracted a very large audience. अभी लॉकडाउन के दौरान भी हमने देखा कि दूरदर्शन ने ये महाभारत और रामायण जो था कई सालों पहले उन्होंने अपने चैनल पे दिखाया था, उसको फिर से दिखाया. Here you can see Bharat Ek Khoj, a serial telecasted by Doordarshan, has a special place in the history of Indian television serials. It was based on Discovery of India, a book written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and it was directed by Shyam Benegal. Here you can see his name. This serial presented the history of India from the ancient to the modern period, throwing light on social, cultural and political history of respective periods. And here many more examples: serial on Buddha, Raja Shiv Chhatrapati on Shivaji Maharaj, serial on Samrat Ashoka. So while producing this type of programs, maintaining accuracy with regard to the presentation of environment, ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि ये उस दौर में कुछ हो रहा है. Then the outfits, जैसे आप यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं कि कपड़े, outfits, weaponry, lifestyles, lingual expressions, etc. is essential. One needs to have a deep understanding of history of the concerned period. So if you are good in historical topics, आप कोई सीरियल लिख सकते हैं जो बेस्ड है हिस्ट्री पे और उसके शोज प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं, डायरेक्ट कर सकते हैं, लिख सकते हैं. सो ऑल दीज आर द अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन मास मीडिया. Currently, channels like Discovery, National Geographic, History and Epic channel is also there nowadays. The channels have opened a rich treasure of global history for the audience, and it has enabled people to view the historical and geographic wonders at home. घर बैठ के हम ये सारी चीज़ें देख सकते हैं, उसका आनंद ले सकते हैं. To make such programs more entertaining, some parts of the serial are actually enacted by actors such as the characters of heroic men and women, sportsmen, army chiefs, etc. And beside these serials about ancient monuments, forts, histories of empires and also the history of culinary arts are watched by a large number of people with great interest. So the main and the important thing again, people with deep knowledge of history. If you have deep knowledge of history or about any particular topic of the history, like from ancient history you know something, or medieval or of modern, then in the respective field are sought out all the fields mentioned above.
Please subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications.
So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.